Welcome to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond, a show that explores the people, players, places, and most importantly, communities that make up pickleball in Michigan and around the world. Here's your host, Tony Conley.
Welcome to the first episode of Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond. I'm Tony Conley. I'm your host. Our producer is Benjamin Robinson. Thanks so much for being here. The sport and popularity of pickleball is exploding around the world, especially here in Michigan. On Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond, we'll talk with the players, the pros, the facility owners, the tournament promoters, the equipment and clothing leaders, and most importantly, the communities that encompass pickleball. It's very apropos that our first guest is the person who actually gave me the idea for this podcast. Jessie Stipcak is the owner of Reno's North Sports Bar in the mid-Michigan area. She's a former high school star athlete who at one time owned 3 sports bars and a golf course here in the mid-Michigan area. She's one of the biggest supporters of pickleball in Michigan, and today we're going to find out why. Hi, Jessie.
Hi, Tony.
I don't think I've ever had you on the radio before.
No, this is very exciting.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Let's just dive right into it. Tell us about your high school and college background. I know in high school, sports was very important to you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, growing up, like sports was just one of my favorite things to do. Could always meet great people, get that energy going, that competitive energy, and just made so many friendships over the years from different schools, different programs and camps I was in. It just was a big part of growing up.
Tell us about your high school and college background.
So I did go to boarding school at Cranbrook in Bloomfield Hills, and I was there as a scholarship kid. I was not there as some of them were, but I was always
because that's a big money school. You gotta have some dough to go there.
It is, yeah. And my parents were just very focused on the educational aspect, and I actually got a scholarship for my math scores. But when I was there, I was very avid in basketball and volleyball, ended up being captain of my teams. And I just really love like the leadership aspect, getting people excited, working as a team. I think later that really helped me transfer that kind of energy into my business. And it was just, again, just a big part of how I managed my time, was trying to be that student athlete and make sure again that, I had time to get my good grades, but also enjoy my, sports teams.
All right. So what happened in college? Where'd you end up in college?
So then I went to Michigan State and, I started as a math and accounting double major and, was doing pretty well in that. And then I ended up starting at Reno's East as a server.
And that's where I met you because I was a DJ there.
Oh my God. Tony Tech Avenue DJ. So Tony Conley.
So you went from server to bartender to manager to general manager to owner. Tell us about that track and why you took that track.
Something just clicked. I had waited tables at like Big Boy in high school and done a couple things like that, and just really loved people, getting to know friendly new faces, and just there's something about the hospitality business that really clicked. I love talking with people. I love finding out what makes people tick. I love bringing people together. I love entertaining. Even when I was in college, I'd always put together lots of little events and euchre parties and fun things like that. So when I started at Reno's, I'm like, wow, like there's just so much energy. We're here watching sports, which I absolutely love. I'm able to, I got hired in there at just a very exciting time as well. It was right when Tom Izzo became head coach. We had some really good Red Wing seasons at the time. This was around, let's see here, 96, 97. Mm-hmm. And I just remember playoff game after playoff game and just, the energy. It just was, I was excited to go to work.
You remind me, in a sense, to John Taffer of Bar Rescue. I watched that show religiously from the aspect. I can remember a lot of people were a little scared of you. You're a very strong, smart woman. I guess I gravitated toward that because I was raised by a single parent. It seems like I've always had strong women bosses. And I always wondered why people were scared of you. And it just got me to thinking about John Taffer and Bar Rescue. It's business.
Oh, it's
And we
business.
got to handle our business.
100%.
And there are protocols in place,
Yep.
and you can't jive around.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about the business of
Well, you
running a
know
bar.
what? Like, I had an incredible mentor who was the owner, Steve Feta, at the time, and he was just pivotal in kind of my business development. And he's like, "Hey, like, we're here to sell these drinks, not consume the drinks. Like, we're here to, these are widgets. Like, you have to count for everything if you want to stay in business. Like, hey, we want to provide this entertainment and great fun outlet." But we have to be the responsible ones while everyone else is having fun. We got to make sure we're safely serving people. We got to make sure everything's accounted for. Our labor numbers are right. I, under Steve's tutelage, I then began taking hospitality business classes at Michigan State and changed my major. My mother, I was raised by a single mother who was a brilliant, brilliant woman, got her PhD in math, taught at U of M, then went to U of M Law School for fun. Like, she was just a very driven woman. So I really had, that background from her. And then Steve Feta, who I learned just a ton of just business savviness. And I think I've softened up a little bit over the years, Tony. I was able to combine, being like, hey, these are rules. We have, protocols we have to do, and being very, very like rigid in terms of, how I ran my business. And I think over time, you really, you kind of you learn your employees more. You learn that you have to kind of understand where they're coming from in order to get the best out of them. So I think when you knew me, when is this, 30 years ago or so, I was starting out, I was, just by the book on every single thing. And I'm still by the book now, but you also really need to connect with your employees if you want to get the best out of them
All right.
on your
So
team.
at one point, you owned Reno's West, Reno's East, Reno's North. How'd you get suckered into all that?
Oh my gosh. So, so Steve Feta gave me the opportunity to buy me his business, Reno's East. And that was after I'd been there for a few years. He had given me a little bit of ownership over the years as part of my compensation package. So I really felt, kind of connected to it, that it was my baby. And he really gave me the reins to run it and make, the decisions on my own mistakes. And so then when he was ready to kind of move on to his other businesses, he gave me that opportunity. And I don't know if you remember, probably about a year later, we did a massive patio renovation, and there weren't a whole lot of patios
And
at
I
the time.
think the
Yep.
way you guys did it with those big glass
Mhm.
garage doors that you can push up, and the way you did your patio with the brick and the slate and all that, it was a really cool and welcoming environment. And once the drugstore got taken out at Reno's East and you had that great view, that was really something.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. We put the patio on the front, and so people would be driving by like, what is going on over there? And we did a lot of entertainment-based things, whether it's DJ or live music, Don Middlebrook and his whole living soul. We really, got all the parrot heads there. And even though you're in Michigan, the patio in the summer is just like these Michiganders, we just crave that sunshine. So there's a lot of people like, why are you spending this money on an outside environment in Michigan? I'm like, well, we're cooped up all year. Like, there's nothing better than the patios. So.
Well, and that leads me throughout your bar and restaurant career. You've been big on entertainment, DJs, thank goodness for me, live musicians, Michigan State University coaches shows, things like that. Why is that?
I think it's the sense of like bringing people together. Like, one of the things I'm most passionate is connecting people, whether it's, business relationships or people that have a shared interest in music, sports. It's really a neighborhood gathering place at the restaurants over the years. And, to see people enjoy, like, people have their different passions, whether it's their favorite sports team, whether it's football, basketball, live music, trivia night. People want that entertainment and camaraderie with other people with shared interests.
All right, let's get into the good stuff. pickleball. You've
Oh, come on.
incorporated that into your business. How did all that start?
You know what? COVID was just a really insane time for all of us and a lot of kind of soul searching about, at that time I had these three very large restaurants that I had renovated over the years and enlarged. And I remember just sitting there not being able to open these three large restaurants and really thinking about what I wanted to do moving forward. I'd spent just years and years raising my family with my husband Bob, and we have three kids, beautiful kids, and just work, 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 kids, kids, kids. Not really a lot taking care of myself and my own personal health. And I found myself at kind of a crossroads on the level of stress and trying to management that with like a work-life balance, which had never been done before. I did not have that balance. It was work, kids only. And so, I think coming out of COVID, the whole community as well, we're looking for more active, engaging type of activities, not to just sit passively at a sports bar and watch these sports, but actually take a big interest in their own health and their own activity. And so that's where pickleball came in. I'd seen Patriarch do a large renovation for their parks. A lot of those people would come in as customers to raise money for pickleball, and I would listen to their stories about how it changed their life, made them healthier, more active, more social. And I was very intrigued by that community. So I about, let's see here, about a year and a half ago, we bought this building that has an indoor basketball gym and pickleball courts. So my husband taught me how to play. We started inviting our friends
So
over to
Bob was
play.
playing before you were, huh?
Just a little bit at like
Uh-huh.
court one. We were always members at court one. And so we kind of dabbled in it a little bit. We would drive by, like we had a friend's house at Duck Lake that had outdoor courts, and there'd always be like 20, 30 people, our age, mixed ages, honestly. And we're like, what is all this? So I'm like, I was a little embarrassed to try it. So in the privacy of our own home, like he, taught me how to play, and everyone that we would invite over would just instantly become hooked. And I'm like, hey, like, here's my competitive streak and all that energy that I had growing up and the love of sports. I'm like, I'm back, baby. Come on.
So you have the sweet facility that I go and play at. You're going to incorporate this into your business.
Correct.
And something you told me was really, really interesting. Businesses and families like to do golf outings. They do whatever. Now pickleball's the big deal for things like that.
It's incredible. It's just an activity that appeals to all age ranges. You will see an 80-year-old playing on the same court with a 12-year-old, and it's just such a wide appeal. And so I began, thinking what's my next step in the business. My managers that have been with me for, I mean, some of them just decades with me. We are all a little burnt out during COVID, trying to, lack of staff, really trying to manage all these things. We made the decision to go to one location and really grow that business. And this entertainment concept of, you see places like a High Caliber with the racing and the axe throwing, that type of thing. You're really in Top Golf. You're seeing these sports bar facilities become more entertainment based. And pickleball is something that can be played all day. There's people that wake up 6 a.m. and play before work. Can be something that can fill the day. So we began to draw plans at our DeWitt Township location. And we plan to build a pickleball gym with 4 courts and then 2 large golf simulators. And we are on 8 acres of land there, so we can actually expand and grow. So if the pickleball gym takes off the way we think it will, we can add another gym and another gym. And I think we could get up to 20 courts, if indoor courts, if the demand.
So one of the things I've gathered through playing at your facility outside your home is talking with the people and talking with other folks who are going to be guests with us is as a big promoter, a supporter of pickleball, you have a knack for bringing people together, but slotting the beginners in with the beginners
Absolutely.
and so on and so forth. So people are really kind of having fun with that, but also intermingling. I have met a woman whose husband doesn't get around physically very much. Pickleball community is a big thing for her. Someone else whose spouse died. Other folks are going out and having lunch or having Bloody Marys after they play pickleball. Talk about how you kind of slot people in and kind of have grown that community. And that's the big thing, I guess, pickleball, Michigan and beyond is really going to dive into is the community of pickleball.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. And, you know, um, it's all about really matching up the right players at the right times and the right skill levels. And, because no one wants to be smashed on and just like serve it to someone, you can't return it. So I really try and like dig in when I invite people over. Hey, what kind of skill level are you at? Like, we absolutely love beginners. My entire, group just embraces new people. You were there last night. Danielle brought her brother Chris, who actually also used to be a DJ at Reno back in the day. He was my
Really?
trivia DJ. I
Oh
was
my
like, wait a
gosh.
minute. And it's another thing that's just so fun. Someone invites someone else and you know them. It's like 7 degrees of separation, all that stuff. But, we all love our little competitions. So we figured out all kinds of different ways to make it super interesting. Like there's open play, there's ladder events, there's round robin, there's king of the court. We play this MLP style. And then, I really try and invite and let people know what format they're coming into. You can do mixed doubles. You can do, we have some different like ladies only leagues. There's just endless opportunities. We're going to do a glow pickleball night. We're going to do a generational tournament where it's, a parent and their kid or, their parent playing. And it's so incredible to be able to play with your children, to, play with, the children's grandparents, and we're all there together, exercising, being healthy. It improves your mental acuity. It gives you goals to work on.
All right, so
I
you
could go
you
on.
kept inviting me, and I was going, yeah, 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 yeah. So I've played a total of 7 times now, and I'm a pretty fit guy, get into the gym a lot. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Pickleball is different because there are some very non-athletic people, some people who probably need to lose some weight or whatever, but it's such a strategic game that it's not all about the smash. It's all about, playing that middle area correctly, keeping the ball low, being smart,
Mhm.
hitting it where they ain't, as opposed to, and I think there's a lot of people I run into. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even Julie, my wife, I took her and she was going, I said, "Come on, Jessie says we'll have fun. We're gonna go."
Oh,
Now
it's insane.
she's addicted now, and she's even on her watch. She goes, "I'm burning like 1,000 calories,
Oh,
in
yeah.
the 2 hour session."
Oh, it's about 500 calories an
Yeah,
hour. And it
yeah.
depends on who you are. We have these CrossFitters that come and they're like, this is the best cardio I've
Mhm.
had. So yeah, you can die around like a crazy person, like Tony. I'm like, what? Tony's on the floor again? Like diving for these crazy shots. But then you can also, I mean, we have this 80-year-old that we called Monty the Bullet, and this girl can just fire them at you and place them, and she's not running all over the place. It's just really strategic.
And one of the things you told me about, you just can't come in and play. You got to warm up. You better
Absolutely.
stretch because I remember after the fourth time I played, and I stretch a lot. The morning after a 2 hour session,
Oh yeah,
oh my gosh.
big time.
So that low impact cardio
Mhm.
deal is there, but you can't look beyond the warming up and the stretching, and I think that's good for overall fitness.
Yeah, we have a lot of PTs that play with us, physical therapists, and we do not want any injuries. And that's probably one of the biggest kind of, I think, hurdles or, things that people say, oh, pickleball, there's injuries. Well, here's the deal. The stats that you're not getting is how much longer people are living because they're now fit hey, maybe they have a little, knee issue because, hey, we're getting older and you're 60 and yeah, your knee gets worn down. But guess what? You're exercising, and those people are so much happier that they're playing pickleball. They don't mind having their like knee, kind of fixed and repaired. They just cannot wait to get back
Mhm.
out on the pickleball courts. But what we're really trying to do is emphasize the stretching, the warming up, the making sure you're not going for dangerous shots. Like running backwards is a big no-no when you're receiving lobs, wearing the right shoes, wearing the right glasses. I mean, you really want that safety first approach. And I think the reason you do hear about injuries is maybe people aren't stretching. Maybe people are going for the shots they shouldn't go for. Tony, no, there's not a shot that you won't go
Oh
for.
my
Oh
gosh.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, it's so competitive. How big is pickleball in Michigan?
I mean, it is just exponentially growing. Like a lot of us are like, this is the Wild West, and we have barely seen, like barely scratched the surface. Every person that I invite, almost every, I would say probably 95% of the people I invite become absolutely hooked on playing and come back. They come back with more pickleball gear. They're wearing a new t-shirt. They got new shoes. They're like, Jesse, I ordered a paddle. So much that I actually became like a paddle rep and a shoe rep because I want people to make sure they're getting the right kind of
Well, it
products.
reminds me of golf because people want to get geared up.
Big time. I mean, that industry is just blowing up. I know that you're going to be talking to some of those manufacturers and people that sell like the clothing lines and paddles. But I mean, having a great paddle really helps improve your game. I'm telling you.
Um, Tell me about some of the facilities you've been to. I know you've been traveling around the state and maybe other areas. You
Absolutely.
were telling me there are some really cool pickleball facilities in Michigan.
Not only are there very cool pickleball facilities, but the owners and the people that run them are just unbelievable people. They're very passionate. They're very dedicated to making people healthy, getting that social environment going, working on, the mental acuity and the challenges and leveling up. Like our gym, we offer clinics, we give free lessons, we have a pro that comes over and gives us strategy tips. I think you are going to be
Mhm.
talking with Carl. We have a ball machine so people can come in. I give people lessons. I've learned all kinds of fun drills and games that you can do. My favorite thing is kind of getting people leveled up to the next level. Then once I kind of see people move there, then I invite them to the next kind of higher skill level. And it's really all about, again, getting the right people playing with the right people so that it's mass enjoyment for
You were
everybody.
telling me about there's a cool facility on the west side of the state, and maybe it was the Detroit area or Ann Arbor
Well,
area.
there's a couple women in Ann Arbor that built this Wolverine facility. I think it was like a $12 million facility, and it was kind of unheard of at the time. And they got all these private investors in the community to raise the money for it. We went down. They were just absolutely lovely, lovely women. One of them is, I think she used to be like a pro volleyball player. I think it was Leslie. And she kind of took all that energy because I mean, hey, like some of these sports like softball and volleyball, I don't want to say you age out, but they become a little high impact. And
Hmm.
pickleball is just the perfect kind of sport to fit that competitive need, but also be a little bit better on your body as we all get older. So anyway, and they have, let's see here, they have 12 courts there. It's a very large facility. You can't even get time in the wintertime. Like, unless you're a member, like, it's very, very hard to even get court time. So that was a beautiful facility. And then, I think that you spoke with Andy, who's building a really exciting
Hmm.
one in Grand Rapids,
Yeah.
Dinks and Dingers. That's going to have indoor pickleball courts and an indoor wiffle ball field. So, I mean, just there's so many facilities.
And
So,
one other thing I want to mention about pickleball is golf is a pretty cool sport
yeah.
because moms and dads can play with their sons and daughters and whoever else. Pickleball's the same way. I've seen some kids that were still in high school playing against their grandparents.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have a 16-year-old and soon to be 18-year-old. And I was like, hey, you guys, like, you could get some pickleball. Like, eventually there'll be pickleball scholarships, I'm sure. But I'm like, there's money ball tournaments. You can go travel around. And I'm like, you could make a nice little side hustle playing in these money ball tournaments. But I mean, what was the question?
Well, we're talking about all age ranges can play this like golf.
So my husband and I were like the operating partners at Timberidge for many, many years.
Mhm.
And part of my business plan for the pickleball gym emulates the golf business a little bit. You have your leagues, you have nightly leagues that are like really important. You have your open tee time and open court reserve. We do a lot of different like events. And then we also have big what you would call like a golf outing. Like we have these charity pickleball tournaments. So we did one this December where we raised, let's see, I think 12,000 for Happy Feet, which is a local pet rescue. And having charity pickleball tournaments to me, I'm sorry, is like the new golf outing because anyone can enter it. You can have beginner level. It takes a little less time than, a full round of golf, as much as we all love golf. And it's really a less expensive sport to get into. And, piggybacking off of that, like we do a lot of business networking nights at my particular gym where I really try and connect business owners. We play a little bit of pickleball, have a lot of laughs and fun. And it's just an insane way to connect people, So,
How fun is all this for you?
oh my, it's incredible. Like it has really, in my phone, we all laugh about this because you'll pull up everyone's named Pickleball, like that's their middle name. It's just like Tony Pickleball AM, so, oh, I know you can play in the AM. So, and it's just, I mean, I probably have like 400 contacts, of just like pickleball friends that whether they come to my gym or we meet out at the open courts. It's just really a great environment. And oh, I would love to talk about one huge event that's coming up this summer, June 1st. So I'm on the Delta Area Pickleball Association. I'm the treasurer. And first order of business is to raise money for our club because our organization is all about enhancing pickleball amenities in Delta Township for that particular group. And so we had our first Pickle Palooza last summer, and it was a crazy hit. It was so much fun. We probably had, I think, around 500 or 600 people out there. We had a lot of local businesses that sponsored it. We raised, I want to say around 7 or 8 thousand for our pickleball association just to improve like the courts and offer shade structures and just, do things, give lessons to the community. And at that event, we had live music, we had pros come out and do exhibition games. We had play with the pros. So they would like teach people things. We gave away a ton of paddles to the community. We did a giant ball drop. Danny from Peak Performance, she got up in this giant bucket truck. She dropped 500 balls and we were just, and like everyone could collect the balls. And if like the balls were tagged for extra prizes. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. All these like grandparents ran out. I think these grandparents are helping the kids. Oh no, and like it was just the funniest thing. But anyway, so this year, June 1st at Delta Mills Pickleball Park, we are going to have Pickle Palooza Part 2 to raise some money and just have a lot of fun for the community.
All right, final question for you to entice apprehensive people like me who probably just, okay, Jesse, I'll get out there and play that old man's game. To entice folks like I used to be, what would you say to them to get them to try pickleball?
It honestly will change your life. You will, for one, just have those like endorphins, that competitive nature. You will meet just so many friends wherever you go. Like we go to Arizona, we go to Florida. There's such an avid pickleball community that welcomes people. You can just pull up on your phone where to play pickleball. You show up at these local parks by yourself, or even with, my husband and I will go. And there's open play and you can just mix in with different people. You want to know what skill level you are, but it's something you can play with your family. It's something that when I used to hang out with my friends before pickleball, we would go to, I mean, nothing wrong with going to restaurants, but we go drop $150 on dinner and drinks and consume a ton of calories. And, that was fun and everything. Now we play pickleball, which doesn't cost a lot of money. We have so many laughs. We burn like 500 calories an hour approximately. And it really sharpened. I could tell you endless stories of people who've lost weight, people who are like depressed, maybe a parent was dying or going through a divorce, or just was new to the area and wanted to meet a lot of new folks. And it's just such a positive and welcoming and inclusive community that and you can play at all different levels. Like I have a lot of people that just don't want to level up. They just want to play a little social with their friends and have a good time and burn some calories. And there's a place for everyone in the community.
Jessie Stipcak is the owner of Reno's North. I would suggest if you're in the mid-Michigan area, especially on the north side towards the Witt, stop by Reno's. Ask for Jessie, and she'll tell you all you need to know about getting started with pickleball. I'm Tony Conley. This has been episode 1 of Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. We'll be back next week. We thank you for tuning in. Benjamin Robinson is our producer. See you next time. Pickleball Michigan and Beyond.
Thanks for listening to Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. Follow us on Facebook and check out our website, pickleballmichiganandbeyond.com.